finally moving to the architecture that you guys provide, it makes it a much more achievable dream for us, because now we can move from game to game much faster and deploy with an overlay right away. Hey everyone, I'm Amine, co-founder of Mobalytics, and today I'm here with Uri, and we're at Gamescom, and I've got some really exciting news to share with you.
Hey everybody, I'm Uri, co-founder and CEO of Overwolf.
So I want to share with everyone today that Mobalytics is going to be building our app on the Overwolf, and we're going to be taking advantage of the engine and the software development kit, or SDK. And today we're going to talk about why we're doing that, how we're doing that, and what we're going to do and what our plans are for the future, which are really exciting. But before I do that, Uri, why don't we talk a little bit about Overwolf and kind of what you guys have built and where you've come from?
Sure, so the way we think about Overwolf is that it's a framework that allows creators to build content around existing games. So if Unity or Unreal are products that allow game developers to build cross-platform games and make it easier for them so that they don't need to build the engine from scratch, Overwolf is doing the exact same thing for creators of content around existing games, just like Mobalytics is building.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's start with why, right? So, for us, the main reason we want to do this is we want to build the best in the world tools for players. So companion apps and things that allow people to climb, but also have a better gaming experience. And we don't want to invest our resources in building that technical layer and troubleshooting for every PC and every configuration, especially when you guys do that so well. So that's the number one reason for us why we're doing this. And it feels like by doing that, we're able to make the tools that we've always wanted to make and to move to the games that we always wanted to move. We've been at this for a while now, and we really want to step up our game. And this is what's going to let us, kind of similar to our players who are climbing ladders, we want to climb our own ladder on our own journey to step up.
And I think it's quite similar to how game developers think about game development, right?
Yeah.
Studios basically build games today, either on Unity or on Unreal, and they don't go and start building their own engine usually. Some do, but most studios kind of go to that default. And this allows them to focus on the gameplay experience, to focus on quality, to focus on that very thing that's going to make their experience kind of the most unique and the best in the world that they can build.
Which is hard enough, right? When you're focusing on that stuff is hard enough, right? So, cool.
And this is how we indeed hope to help. We've been iterating for years on building all those tools and on making it very easy and performant and feature rich so that creators can build whatever they want. And super happy for the opportunity to kind of team up with you guys and continue the journey of building products.
Yeah, actually, for those of you that don't know, we've actually been working together for a while. We started way back in 2017, and we built our first app on Overwolf. And I think back then, none of our products were really ready for that, and it was not the greatest user experience. Then again, about 2019, during the launch of Legends of Runeterra, we collaborated again and we built an app, and that was a much better experience. However, the trajectory of Runeterra didn't really allow us to work together the way we wanted, and so we've been thinking behind the scenes, like, how do we get back and work together, because we really want to make this happen, and now I feel like we finally have the opportunity to do that. And
And also, Naren, I remember our first meeting at WeWork somewhere in Los Angeles back then, as you guys were just starting up and we were just starting up with our platform, and it was like two sort of premature companies meeting, trying to figure out a way to work together, having a bunch of like cool ideas, but not really having the capacity to execute.
And we weren't
premature,
there. But you were mature compared to us. We were really premature.
You were just starting, I remember.
We were newborn.
But also I think like for our journey, I think we were nowhere near as we are today.
Absolutely.
And we had not enough understanding on kind of the amount of effort it's going to take to get to where we are today, and the amount of sort of work that we'll need to put into the product to deserve the trust of folks like you guys.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, I mean, so we talked about the why, but what actually are you guys going to build?
Yeah, so it's real simple. We're going to start off and port everything that we have to Overwolf, so you get the same experience and be cleaner, faster. We're going to take advantage of all the performance hooks that you guys have in there to allow our app to work better on all people's PCs. But I think this is a great stopping point to talk about kind of what you guys do to optimize performance and really dig into that.
Sure. So performance is a really key thing for us as we were building the product. And one of the things that we've learned is that you can reach performance through just many, many iterations and focus on those things. So for example, back in the day, Overwolf had a memory footprint of north of 120 megs. And now when you launch the product, we significantly reduced the memory footprint. So by default, it's around 60 megs. And with every app you launch, it starts in like 3 megs, but then it can climb depending on what you display in the app. So this is with regards to run. We also worked on improving our overlay performance. So it used to be the case in the past that we would draw in every new frame, the entire UI of the product on the screen. And we've transitioned to build this like smart grabbing technology that only takes diffs, it only takes differences, and it makes them more performant. And I don't know if that's TMI, but it's really important because it makes the entire experience smoother. And we're going to keep on iterating on continuing to reduce footprint and continue to improve performance for everyone's computer to make the product, the platform, and everything that we're building more inclusive for everyone, even if they have like lower end PCs.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. I think it's really important because one of the biggest challenges we have, and we get a lot of feedback for, is like, hey, I don't have the greatest PC and this eats too much of my memory. So it's great to hear that you guys are keeping in mind the little guy. As we know, League is an older game, so a lot of people with a lot of different types of computers play that, and that's a wonderful thing. So it's nice to know that'll be cool.
So in terms of there's like the infrastructure piece, right? Performance and smoothness and coexistence and antivirus, like conflicts without
it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's like the PC jungle. So there's that part. But which other new features are you guys planning to build?
Yeah, so for us, we're really excited to take advantage of the telemetry that you guys offer, as well as the overlay architecture. And for example, for League, you'll be seeing that we'll also enhance the pre-game experience and the during the game experience and the post-game experience in a similar manner. So we're really excited to talk more details about that when we get there and show previews during the launch of that. So.
All right, I mean, so one of the technologies that we're really proud of is the ability to look at the screen, understand what's happening in the game, so that people can build cool things. What are you planning to do with that part?
Yeah, so it's really cool. We're on a lifelong journey to make the best tools possible. And for me, coming from a background where I grew up with games being kind of this singular layer towards competition. No matter who you are, and how much money you have, how tall you are, all that matters when you load a game of StarCraft or Street Fighters, you're on equal footing. So we'll always strive to make sure that the tools we create are keep those boundaries intact. And I think I'm sure you feel those boundaries.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, using all the awesome stuff you provide, for example, in TFT, we'll be making our new live companion, which will provide more information for players before and during the game, and it'll be really useful and exciting. So you'll see more of that soon. And in League, we're also kind of going to enhance the existing live companion and the builds in it, and kind of the information you get during the game, so that players can learn and play in a way that helps them more. So we're really excited about those two things.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out. I support main, Leona.
Nice.
I know you're a jungler, right?
I'm at jungle, so support jungle duo. Leona's great.
That's a good mix.
Yeah.
I love Leona.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is for League and TFT, but are you also like interested in developing features for folks that play other games?
Yeah, so absolutely. It's been a dream to be a companion in every game for every gamer, right? And I think we can finally, moving to the architecture that you guys provide, it makes it a much more achievable dream for us, because now we can move from game to game much faster and deploy with an overlay right away. So we're going to start that off with my current addiction, which is Lost Ark. Wonderful game. If you haven't played, you should play. Mm-hmm. But you'll see that coming out really soon. And then we're going to follow that with other games like Destiny 2 and Genshin Impact. And we'll be keeping our eyes open for new awesome games that are coming out. So hey, if you have thoughts on what you guys want, go ahead, send them to us, and we'll take them into consideration.
That's awesome. So I want to switch gears and talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Some players don't want to install Overwolf. They don't really understand what it is. They don't really want any piece of software on their computer. They prefer to have a different experience. How would you think about providing a great experience for those folks?
Yeah. So I think anyone who's been on Reddit in the last 4 or 5 years has seen probably these threads, right, in the game, or in League subreddit or wherever subreddit, right? So I think what we want to be mindful of is, look, we're trying to build the best app possible. And we're going to use the best tools possible to allow us to do that. But at the same time, we want to be mindful for people who may have their own reasons. We'll talk a little bit more about them. But just to help ease people through that as we continue to build the best tool possible, we're going to have our current app as it is available for download and use.
That's great.
So you can keep using it as you're currently using it. And in the meantime, what we'll be doing is evaluating kind of the app and the Overwolf app and understanding kind of like what is the best experience for players and how can we reach that best experience and work through that step by step. That's our commitment.
And I think this is a great choice that you made, because I think allowing these folks that want to continue to use the existing product to continue using it is the right way to go. And hopefully with time, we can earn their trust through essentially quality and iterations and offering. And if we earn their trust, great. And if we haven't, they can continue using the Electron standalone app and, having fun.
Yeah, I think it's probably in everyone's best interest as we create better and newer features to be using the top of the line app. And that's our goal, to hit on that truth.
All right.
Maybe we can switch to another elephant in the room, right?
Let's go.
So you guys have gone through this huge experience with a lot of the potentially, I guess there's a lot of hearsay on Reddit, and you're not supposed to always believe on Reddit. But one of those things is privacy, right? Yep. And how you guys handle players' data and selling players' data and whatnot. So I think that's one of the feedbacks that we get a lot. So I'd love to hear how you take on that and what's Overwolf's take there.
Yeah, right on. So first and foremost, Overwolf does not sell data and will not sell data. And this is a statement that I want to start with. We've actually modified our end user license agreement to say that, so that even if someone wanted to do this in the future, they cannot. So this is just to start off. The way we collect data, we have like 3 different tiers. The first tier is to actually make the product work. So like when the app launches, a server needs to know, see what patch it is, and see if it needs to be patched, for example. So this is the first tier. The second tier is to personalize. So for example, if we see that you're playing League of Legends, we may want to recommend an app for League of Legends. So this is the personalization piece. And the third part is, do you actually send information for us so that we can improve or our partners can improve building their apps? And the good news for folks who are concerned is that they can opt out from both option number 2 and option number 3. So the only piece of sort of data handling is around the absolute necessities to keep the product running. And this is how we think about data.
Nice. Thank you for just digging into that. And maybe too much details for some people, but it makes complete sense. I think it's an increasingly difficult stance to take in a world where data is so heavily monetized. So you guys taking that stance is a lot towards the commitment for players and keeping their data private. So I'm sure people will appreciate and understand that.
And by the way, I think I also want to, and we've been very open about it, we have monetized data in the past, and I want to share a little bit on how we monetize data.
Please, go ahead.
So, back in the early days, as a startup trying to figure out how we're going to monetize, we explored a bunch of different strategies, and monetizing data was one of them. So we had a partnership with this company called Newzoo, which is a research company for the games industry. And the way we work with them is we try to provide them aggregated data. So it was never personal. You don't even need to sign up for Overwolf. So it was never associated with a specific human being. It was like, which are the most popular games in Germany? And then Newzoo would take that data and potentially sell it to advertisers that wanted to know how to target specific audiences in a specific country. It's very similar to Steam. So if you go to Steam hardware survey, if you go to Steam like most played concurrent games, there's a lot of aggregated information there, or max CCU for whatever game, whatever time frame. It was very similar to that. But the fact is that a lot of the folks that we work with and a lot of the customers that we serve were actually really concerned that we're like a data harvesting company. So we decided to completely shut it down, pivot to other monetization strategies, and change our EULA so that it blocks us from even thinking about this, even if we wanted to. So this is kind
if that doesn't address it, I don't know what will. So I think, as I said, that's a hard stance to take in today's world. Let's talk about maybe a different thing that's popped up over the years, and that's basically, when you look at the app and you try and understand the people that have used it before. People who may have used it 5-6 years ago had a different experience than the people who are using it today. So I think maybe let's talk a little bit about that. I think from our own experience, basically, we know the first app we released, for the lack of a better term, was hot garbage, right? And we had plenty of problems, and we've evolved ourselselves. And maybe you can share a little bit about your journey, and I know you guys have evolved as well.
No, we've gone through a similar journey. So for those of you who don't know, we actually started in 2010. And in 2010, we set our minds to building everything in-house, and we built a bunch of products, and we released an immature product, which we had to release. Like, you have to understand, as a startup, you have so many constraints, and without getting any sort of market validation, there is no hope for building anything. So we released something that we felt was okay, but in retrospective was not quite there. And over time we've iterated, and we ended up getting really stuck in 2013. We've talked about this. We ran out of money. The consumer kind of strategy for us just did not work. And we have to focus. We had, just like you guys want to be like the best in the world in helping gamers improve, we made a decision and a commitment back in mid-2013 when we've done an A round to be the best in the world in building tools for creators. Mm-hmm. So we stopped building like services internally, and at that point we started this journey, and in the first iterations of that journey the product was just not there. So for all of you guys that have experienced bad experiences with Overwolf, first I feel you, second I'm sorry, and third, hopefully with time I hope we would earn your trust through trying better products and with higher quality.
That goes both ways. The same exact feelings from our side, sorry for the bad experience, and we're here to earn your trust again, and keep giving us your feedback. That's what keeps us honest. That's what makes us better.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I think as software startups, we don't have the luxury that Hollywood studios have, or that big companies like, say, Blizzard have, where they're very well funded, and they can iterate for like 5, 6, sometimes 7 or 8 years on a product until it's absolutely perfect, until it's ready, and only then ship it to market. Like, as a startup, we have to get feedback and sort of have this agile mentality of getting feedback and iterating, getting feedback and iterating. And this is just the rules of the game. And if there's one thing that I know you all are committed for, and we are committed for, is for continuous improvement to drive that quality and to earn the trust of everyone that uses the product.
Absolutely. And for people who stay in our extra long beta phases, thank you. Because they last a long time sometimes. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool stuff. I think at the end of the day, we just want to build the best stuff we can for players like us who, have maybe not the most time in the world, or maybe have a lot more time, but want to climb the ladder, maybe go from gold to diamond, maybe become a pro, maybe even just keep up with their friends so they have the best game experience ever. But our mission is to build the best tools for the best players, and being able to use a platform that's like kind of like a Unity for doing that is really exciting, because it allows us to have a razor sharp focus on that part of the problem, which is hard enough. There's a lot out there to do. So thank you, and really excited to be going forward.
And we're very grateful for your trust, and we're going to do our absolute best. One of our core values, I'm a support player, but this has nothing to do with one of our core values, which is support main, that talks about this, like we want to be in a position where we just answer your needs and your different requests and continuously earn your trust every single new day because of the value that we're providing for you. So right on, and I'm super excited about this one.
So I'll see you on the Rift. You can support me there?
I will absolutely try to support you there.
Okay, all right.
As long as we play EU West and not any of the NA servers.
So I have to have the bad ping. Fine, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm a jungler, I don't need pings.
All right, cool, awesome. All right, thanks.
All right, see you guys on the Rift.
See ya.